guest earned an Academy Award nomination for his documentary, Super Size Me. Now he has a new book out entitled Don't Eat This Book. Please welcome Morgan Spurlock. You know, just I think about a week ago, I watched Super Size Me again.
Yeah.
And it is, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's still so compelling. You ate nothing but McDonald's
for 30 days.
For 30 days, yeah. And your health completely broke down. I mean, by the end of the experiment, as a viewer, you think this guy could die at any moment.
Yeah.
And how is your health now? You stopped the experiment?
No, everything's back to normal. You know, my girlfriend, who's in the film, is a vegan chef and a health counselor, and so she nursed me back to health, got my cholesterol, my liver function, my blood pressure all back to normal. But you know, the one thing that's like stuck with me ever since this is that I can gain weight really easily. Like, you know, because what people don't realize is that when you lose weight, all those fat cells in your body, they don't go away. They just get really skinny.
Right.
You know,
and so they're ready.
Yeah.
So your whole midsection is just ready to get fat at any
it's
excuse.
Just filled with like little Renee Zellweger cells that are just like waiting.
That is the scientific term, by the way.
That's right. Yeah.
They're tiny Renee Zellwegers all along the middle of the men's. Yeah, it's incredible. Now, your movie, your documentary, had a huge impact. Not long after your film came out and it won all these prizes, it was nominated for an Oscar. McDonald's announced that they were going to stop supersizing.
Just cause.
Just cause. Like they said, they said it had nothing to do with...
nothing to do with the film. We're just getting rid of it.
We're going to stop. And now I'm wondering, are you encountering angry McDonald's fans who are pissed at you because you ended supersizing? Yeah,
you know, there have been a couple people, you know, most people are really excited about the film and are very complimentary, but there have been a couple people that I run into on the street and say, man, I just want you to know, I'm a little ticked off you got rid of that supersizing.
Right.
And I just say, well, you know, sir, no offense, but nobody really needs to be drinking 42 ounces of soda ever.
Right.
You know, that's like 3.5 cans of soda.
You would just look at the containers, and literally the idea was to be able to sit in the soda.
Yeah. It's like,
and like suck your way out.
Like
you know.
Pictures, like those people you used to see, you know, during the Depression that had the barrels around them.
Yeah,
you know, just like with a straw.
These just giant and you show in the movie how much sugar that is, and what it does to your system.
Nothing good.
What about the guy? There's a guy in your documentary who's a guy who eats Big Macs every day.
Don Gorski.
That's pretty much what he ate. And the amazing thing is, and you hear about the guy, and then you see him in the documentary, and he's skinny.
He's a rail.
He's skinny, and you tested his cholesterol, and it was like 140.
Yeah, he's like 6'6", you know, about your height, a stick of a guy, and he eats, you know, a Big Mac for lunch and a Big Mac for dinner, and that's it. He doesn't eat anything else.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's it.
So you think it's just his genetic makeup or something? That
and calories too. Calories in versus calories out. You know, he's probably only eating 1,500 calories a day. But,
right. Because he's not eating other stuff. He's not. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's, you know, he's a fluke of nature. But,
right.
But it's, you know, but he's living. It's good.
Now let me ask you, in this book, Don't Eat This Book, you actually do experiments with McDonald's food to kind of find out what's the makeup of McDonald's.
Well, we did a great experiment on the DVD where we put the food in jars, you know, just to kind of see what would happen. Because you got to think, how many times have you been washing your car and you reach under the seat and you find that fry that's been there for, I don't know.
Right,
you know,
since like the Eisenhower administration.
Exactly,
A 1958 French fry,
And so we put all this food in jars, and slowly but surely everything starts to decompose, except for the French fries, and they lasted 10 weeks until my intern threw them away, you know, when I told him to get rid of the stuff.
So the food doesn't biodegrade, nothing happens to it.
Well, here's the great story. In the book, I talk about this guy who wrote me an email who said, he goes, man, I saw your movie, I love the DVD, and he goes, and I love the smoking fry on the DVD, but you never should have put the food in jars. And I wrote him back, I said, why? And he said, well, last year for New Year's, I went out with my friend. I got the #2 cheeseburger meal, and I ate one, and I stuck the other one in my pocket. And he goes, and then, you know, a heat wave set in Vermont, so I hung my jacket in the closet. A year goes by. You know, I put my jacket back on, I reach in the pocket, and he goes, and I pulled it out, and I unwrapped it, and nothing had happened.
It was perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. And he goes, well, that's a little weird. He goes, so I put it on a shelf. And then I went down to McDonald's, I bought another one and put it on the shelf next to it. And I've been doing that every year now for the last 13 years. So,
oh my God, this is like a serial killer's lair, you know? Stumble in and like, look what I got! Like, heads hanging from the ceiling, only they're just big, you know, that's just so crazy. And they really don't come apart.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you just set these things on a shelf and it's incredible. He said, and then there's a guy who said the dogs won't touch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, bears. bears fear them. That's so strange. You know, maybe that means that if we ate only that, we wouldn't die.
Yeah, we'd live forever.
Maybe maybe McDonald's is really onto something.
We know that, you know, it's, if you can get past the heart attacks, maybe we'll live forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Is McDonald's a sponsor of this show?
Not anymore. Yeah.
That's great. I love that place. And I think you're an ass. Take care of it. That doesn't make any sense. No, it's junk. You know, McDonald's, it has become for so many people, and you've made this point in your film and your book, and that it is it's such a rite of passage for so many Americans. And I'm just talking about myself.
Yeah.
I grew up, you know, late 60s, mostly grew up through the 70s. And every now and then we get to go to McDonald's. And so still, if I'm driving cross country and I see the Golden Arches, you have that kind of sense memory of that means childhood, good feelings. Do you know what I mean? It's a very hard habit to break.
To this day, if I smell a Big Mac, my mouth will just start watering like Pavlov's dog.
Right.
You know, I'll smell it and I'll just want it. I want to take a bite of it. But I just can't, because for me, it just doesn't even taste like food anymore.
Right.
But I love a good burger.
Right.
You know, but for me, a good burger just doesn't come from those fast food joints. You know, it comes from like a diner on the corner, you know, where they use fresh ground beef, and the guy in the kitchen who cooks it, you know, looks like he hasn't had a shower since 1972. You know,
you had me at first with the fresh beef, and then you lost me with, and he's not wearing clothes.
He's got big meaty.
He rubs the burgers on his body.
Yes, Conan. You've been there.
It's a really good place.
It's a good place.
Yeah. Good egg cream there.
And you got to try the special sauce.
Well, clearly, we're two people that shouldn't get together ever again. You're never allowed back. We're like children that aren't allowed to play with each other. Now, I want to ask you something. Where do you stand on the lawsuits? Because when so many of us first heard that some heavy kids were suing these fast food chains, blaming them,
like, come on.
I know, like, I myself, my immediate reaction was, that's stupid. Take responsibility for yourself.
Absolutely.
You are the one that's eating this food. It's up to you not to eat it, and you can't blame the restaurant. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I agree with that to a point. I mean, I think personal responsibility is a huge part of this issue, and, you know, for me, I think there's better ways to solve problems than just by suing people.
Right.
Like, make a movie.
Right,
you know, you know,
or exercise a choice in your life, and don't go there.
And don't go there. And so for me, I think that you know, people do need to accept some responsibility for the choices they make. But a corporation as big as they are, you know, it's completely ubiquitous.
Right. Well, the only thing that gets a little dicey, and you've made this point, and I agree with it, and it's also in like Fast Food Nation, is that the targeting of kids, where they say, come to this restaurant, we've got toys, we've got a playground, we're going to get a free special prize. And, you know, when you're talking about sort of preying on kids that may be, you know, 8 years old, 9 years old, who aren't old enough yet to exercise personal judgment, that seems a little dicey to me.
Exactly. Yeah, because, I mean, they're not giving the toys away for me and you. You know, they're not building those big, colorful playgrounds with the tubes and the nets and the disease.
I hang out at the playground, actually. That's a great tube. You go right through. And
the disease-infested ball pit, you know, got the police tape over it.
That's Chuck E. Cheese, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, good. We've slandered them, too.
There's not going to be anybody left.
Yeah.
Come on, we got a couple minutes left.
Okay. I saw a real weird guy at Wendy's once, and they're literally pulling us off the air now. You have a TV show, 30 Days,
on
FX, which is a fascinating idea. It's you try things for 30 days. You tried living on minimum wage for 30 days. You really become, it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, when we just finished our first season, and, you know, we had some incredible episodes where we examined, you know, sexuality in America. We took a homophobe, and he moved in with a gay man in San Francisco to see what homosexuality is really like.
By the way.
It is. It is. We're on our way. And we just got picked up for a second season. We just found out today.
Good for you. All right, 30 Days returns next year on FX.
Yeah.
Don't Eat This Book is in stores now. Morgan, very cool talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Morgan Spurlock. We'll be right back. Jason Mraz is here.